Hello everyone, it's Joshua from Dynamite Studios, and today I bring you my review of Obi-Wan Kenobi, A Missed Opportunity. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi, in my opinion, is really interesting in the way it handles the Star Wars mythos, and I want to dive into that, and what I think about it. This video will be very differently structured though, because each episode I'll be reviewing individually. So like when I review like three movies from now on, when I review like three movies in a video, it'll be structured. I'll review each movie individually rather than all of them at once. It makes it better and more just a better consensus between all few movies. So without further ado, let's get into Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 1. Episode 1 begins with a recap of what happens in the prequel trilogy, which is really interesting in the way it kind of it splices all three movies together in about a 6-minute sequence. It worked really well, actually. Like, surprisingly well in the way they just were able to capture everything that happened in 5 minutes. And, then it goes to Kenobi. And what he's been doing. He steals meat from his place, and a Jedi gets caught in a cafe. And they let him go. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why they let him go. I think they let him go because they wanted, because he's scraps, and they just want to inspire fear rather than kill everyone. It goes to Leia Organa, and her kind of rebellious nature, which sets up the original trilogy, which I have to watch. And we see her climb up a tree, get grounded, be sneaky. It comes back to Kenobi. It gives a little bit of exposition of what he's been doing since for 10 years. Where he works, his daily schedule. The sand people, forgot what they're called. I'm surprised they even work with Kenobi though, because didn't Anakin kill the mothers, the children, the men, the mothers, and the children? Then that leads into Leia, and we get 10 minutes exposition with Leia. And we find out she's been kidnapped in a coordinated attack by the woman. I honestly don't know her name still. I think it's third sister. If you didn't know, the sisters are a group of Sith that I think they're meant to hunt down Jedi. So are the Inquisitors. It seems like I think there's 3 Inquisitors? No, I think there's just the Inquisitor. Yeah, the Inquisitor along with the sisters. They're meant to take down the Jedi. The only reason I know this is because I'm currently playing Jedi Fallen Order. I'm at the part where you beat the ninth sister. Yeah, and then it continues with Obi-Wan Kenobi having a fear of leaving Luke because he doesn't want Luke to die while he's gone. And he's scared to mess up again, and then the episode ends with him leaving Tatooine in search of Leia with his lightsaber in hand. So, what did I think about this episode? I thought it was really good, actually. I went into the show thinking that okay, it's gonna be Mandalorian style, and although it is very much Mandalorian style, this show gets more hate than it should. It's good, right? It's not terrible in any right. I just think that stuff could have been handled better, and continuity could have been handled better. But overall, I actually really enjoyed episode 1. And what it set out to do, it set out to set up the entire show, which I think is going to be Leia and Obi-Wan Kenobi on the run from the Inquisitors, and it seems like the third sister with Darth Vader in the mix. It looks like a pretty good mix of what it could do. So without further ado, let's get into episode 2. Episode 2 was a rough one. So basically the entire episode, I think for the first 10 minutes, it's Obi-Wan actually finding Leia. Then it's kind of for 20 minutes, just running with Leia. That's honestly the worst part of the episode. They just start running with Leia. That's all the episode is. But it gets better. Once they set the bounty for Obi-Wan on the planet, it gets really good in my opinion, actually. Because, at that point, it gets really action heavy. As they're fighting, bounty hunters left and right, and then they start fighting the third sister, and the Inquisitor, who is not dead, by the way. Even though I haven't seen it, I've heard he's still alive in Star Wars Rebels, so he's probably still alive at that point. it leads to sort of like, yeah, he's not dead 100%. And then they talk about Darth Vader and how he's alive, which is by far the best scene in the show so far. And it's amazing the way they're able to be like, it's action heavy. Because if you were like me, I didn't actually rewatch Revenge of the Sith for the show. Funny enough, I decided not to because I'm not gonna. I just watched Revenge of the Sith about a month ago. Nah, it's what 6 weeks ago I watched Revenge of the Sith to review it for the channel, and I really don't want to watch it again. I'll watch Revenge of the Sith again. There's a video coming out next week. It's Star Wars as well, so there'll be 2 Star Wars videos in 2 weeks. I'll be doing something, and I'll probably watch Revenge of the Sith for that video because it's gonna be a video essay on a character rather than a review. Kind of like how my No Way Home video was a video essay on that final scene. But yeah, I didn't watch Revenge of the Sith for this, and honestly, I don't regret not watching Revenge of the Sith. But the way this show can like just straight up, the way the show can, I like the way the show is expanding Revenge of the Sith. Although it's just still mediocre so far. So without further ado, let's get into episode 3. Episode 1, in my opinion, was better than episode 2, but episode 3, mwah, perfect episode. Literally, I have almost nothing wrong with this episode. It's so good. For one, the only problem with this episode, I think, is the first 10 minutes. It is so boring seeing them in the field. When they get to the laser gate, it's pretty good though. Once they get to the laser gate, they find someone who's willing to help them. Then they go to a town, hide with a robot who actually has feelings. Then they get attacked by the third sister and the Inquisitors. And by the time, yeah, and then what happens again? And then Darth Vader comes, burns Obi-Wan alive, and he saves the last minute. It takes forever to pick up this episode, but I loved that Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight. Not the action. The action was debatable, but that, oh my god, that emotional impact of seeing Obi-Wan generally fear Anakin. Because although Anakin is much weaker as Darth Vader, he has like half the strength that he used to. Obi-Wan is much weaker. Obi-Wan hasn't used the Force in like 10 years at this point. At that point, I don't think he will open his lightsaber like 3 or 4 times this past 10 years. So it's like really interesting to think about it. So, yeah. I think it's just really good. I also liked the ending and how Leia got captured. I thought that was really good too. And yeah, generally this episode did really well. Definitely my favorite episode. My current ranking is episode 3, then episode 1, then episode 2. But we'll see how that changes as episodes 4 and 5 and 6 do. So without further ado, let's get into episode 4. Oh my god, this episode was so decisive in my head. For one, I really liked, I think you pronounce it Revi or Alec Guinness. She was a really good in this episode. I didn't really see her being a part of the dark side. Or, like, being that evil. I don't know why. I know she's meant to be a threat. I just didn't see her. I saw the other Inquisitors as much more evil. But no. This episode really proved to me that she go to any length to torture a child, by the way. Yeah, as I said before, this episode is really decisive in my mind. For one, I didn't like the whole trophy thing. Like, you really think Darth Vader would keep trophies? I imagine he'd keep trophies of, like, Jedi. But he wouldn't keep, like, young trophies. He wouldn't keep trophies of dead people in Glen. No, he just wouldn't. In my opinion, he would just keep maybe lightsabers. He'd keep maybe robes. Maybe a few heads. But not, like, whole bodies of random things. Like, younglings. No. Just no. This episode also proved just how good the actors are. Like I said, I lack genius. I can't never say that. But also the young Layla, which I think she's Vivian Ballard. She's one of the best child actors I have ever seen. The way she can portray fear, even as just a kid, is insane in my opinion. I can't even act that good, and I'm a teenager, and she's like a little kid. She would be a good actor, I think, when she gets older, especially when she starts doing stunts and stuff like that. The way she's able to portray fear and guidance at the exact same time. Yeah, just really good. And of course, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, their actors are literally as perfect as always. This episode was really decisive. Third time I've said that. It just was. Another thing I really liked, another thing I kind of decisive about too, is like, when did she convert the droid to be the spy? Like, honestly, let's be completely honest, she had no time to do that. It's something that I was really decisive about. Yeah, why wasn't Darth Vader in this episode more? I feel like that they're really milking the other characters. Darth Vader was milked in the marketing material. I mean milked. Like he was in almost everything. And he's barely had any screen time. I think Darth Vader in the show, including the tube scenes, has probably had 15 minutes. That is insane. Of course it isn't about Darth Vader. And I could be okay with him maybe having 35 minutes. But we don't even know what he's been up to. Yeah, he's been hunting Obi-Wan. But like, what else has he been up to? Join a jazz band, hang out with his children, scratch that. Yeah, what has he been doing? He started another family, like hanging out with the Inquisitors on Saturday night. Like, what has he been doing? Or like another issue, or another not an issue. Actually, a really good thing. I like the way they portray Obi-Wan's fear in this show in general, his anxiety. The camera shakes too much, but I do like the way they're able to use the camera in certain scenes. That's more episode 3, but it's also kind of present in episode 4. Oh yeah, another thing. Why was Obi-Wan struggling to hold that water? Hasn't he done much more? Or another thing. This is me going on a rant. Why didn't he use Jedi mind trick? Because like, I kind of feel like they should have used Jedi mind trick. Because Qui-Gon Jinn used it, right? And Obi-Wan knows how to use it in episode 4. In a sense, I think he starts learning from Qui-Gon Jinn after the show. And I really hope we get this right in season 2, because it looks like Qui-Gon might get a quick cameo scene in episode 6, but kind of being decisive about that. I'm really hoping they can pull him off well. And they butchered. I really wish Qui-Gon should have been at least 10 minutes. It's insane to me how we didn't have more time. And yeah, if I have one gripe with the show, it's that I think it doesn't, like, promise what the prequels promised. I knew we wouldn't get it, but, like, come on. Why didn't they use Qui-Gon more? Why didn't they see him just in the Force Ghost? Why didn't he at least communicate with Yoda a little bit? Why didn't he, like, try to find remaining Jedi? This is not the Obi-Wan we know. It's the Obi-Wan we would have seen in the prequels. My biggest gripe with the show, I get he has anxiety, but it just doesn't make sense in my mind. And honestly, I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan. As a Star Wars fan, I put myself 6 out of 10. I haven't even seen the original or the sequels yet. I'm planning on watching those for reviews later on, maybe like a month from now. That's my biggest gripe with the show, though. It doesn't do the promise that George Lucas promised us. And I think Disney's butchering the show. But that's on a completely separate issue. Without further ado, let's get into episode 5. Okay. So I was really conflicted on episode 4. I am less convicted on episode 5. I liked episode 5, I think. It's definitely a 4 out of 5 episodes. It's in the upper half, I think, of terms of episodes. I liked the end a lot, the last 20 minutes, and how Vader from when Vader pulls down the ship to the end. Right? It was very decent, the entire thing. I like how Reeve dies. I like the twist that she was a youngling. I heard about this, funny enough, because I'm filming this night in the night, right? So, I'm filming this late at night because, well, I didn't have time to watch this episode today. I heard about this about an hour ago, 2 hours ago, that off social media, that she'd be a young, and I like the idea immediately of her wanting revenge on Anakin. I love that idea. It makes why she's so determined. I think it's kind of stupid though. Like, if you were against someone killing all the Jedi, why the heck would you kill all the Jedi? I get it. Something needs to be done to get your revenge, but you're still killing. You probably killed, like, probably about 20. You yourself probably killed about 5 or 6 Jedi. And everyone around you probably killed about 20 Jedi, and you don't even care. Like, it's insane to me. But on to the other thing, everything else about this episode. I thought it was very, very decent. I liked it. And yeah, it's a really unnoteworthy episode personally. I like how they're not afraid to kill average people. I like how one thing I didn't like is how they needed to have a heroic death. Like, no, they didn't. You could have kept them alive. I'm seeing that trope where there has to be a heroic death at the end, or there has to be with the girl, there has to be a heroic death at the end, and the bad guy must be revealed to be kind of good to help you against the bigger bad guy. Like, no. This show's been Disney-fied, and I hate it with every bite of my soul. Only complaint, overall, this episode is very good. And, yeah, let's move on to the final episode. Let's round up to episode 6, and then after that, my final verdict. So without further ado, let's get episode 6. Oh my god, where to begin with episode 6? Why do I hate, love a little bit, hate a little bit this episode? Oh my god, the last 10 minutes are great. For one, we're gonna come to the negatives first. Why the heck did she just turn evil for no reason? Oh, I want revenge. Shut up. You're about to kill an innocent child because you want revenge on his father. Like, no, shut up. You're gonna think he cares? Like, shut up. But, I think that leads to a bigger issue of, like, yeah, no. They just ruined her character at the end. If she had just died, I think she would have been it wouldn't have been a bad character. This episode definitely felt like, me at least, I know, because they were leaked a few weeks ago, they're going to change this finale, and I don't know if you're like 10 minutes of fight. But this final fight was not very good, and I am actually so disappointed in this final fight. The episode 3 fight was better than this. Why would Obi-Wan just leave Anakin there? Let's be honest. He wouldn't leave Anakin there. After leaving Anakin there in Mustafar, he saw what Anakin turned into. He wouldn't leave Anakin there. He just straight up would. I'm sorry, he just wouldn't. But, like, so if you can't really get around the whole Obi-Wan needs to leave him there, just don't have him need to leave him there in the first place. Like, no. And Qui-Gon Jinn's CGI is good. His de-aging is not. His de-aging is so bad. It is crazy. His de-aging is some of the worst de-aging I've seen in Star Wars. Like, Mandalorian Season 2's de-aging was almost, I think, no. Did they use Sebastian Stan for that, or did they de-age it? Either way, it was really good. It proves they can do stuff. Heck, Obi-Wan was de-aged to the show. But he was de-aged just slightly, but he was still de-aged. It was crazy they couldn't pull the same thing off for, like, Qui-Gon Jinn. Come on. And why wasn't he in more scenes? Like, why? Like, I get it. Obi-Wan was blocked off from the Force or whatever during the show. But that just makes me want a season 2. The season 2 is already at this point almost confirmed because both Obi-Wan and Darth Vader's actors want a season 2. And Obi-Wan Kenobi apparently has a really good watch. At least the amount of people watching it. Well, actually, funny enough, it has more than Miss Marvel does. Miss Marvel's kind of failing right now in terms of average viewers. But, yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi's been kind of really successful. I thought it did a lot of things well. Now to the good things. Come on. Obi-Wan walks up to Luke, goes hello there. That brought a tear to my eye. Not literally, but figuratively. I really liked that part right there. I also liked how they allude to Leia's look. How it's it's more formal than her look in A New Hope, but it's still basically her look. Yeah, come on, it was perfect. But, this was a great finale to the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, in my opinion. But was it a good finale to the show? Yeah, I think it was. But it just didn't. I think it set up Star Wars perfectly. But this show in general, I'm gonna kind of roll back to the whole show now. It didn't feel like Star Wars. It just didn't have that feeling at all. But, like, That's kind of a minor complaint. At least I've seen the prequels. I've seen some of the original trilogy. I think I've seen A New Hope. It doesn't feel like A New Hope. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. What a Star Wars movie should feel like. And I think the show feels flat in that aspect. But like, I still like the show and how it does what it strives out to do. And this show is in my opinion, a very solid, like, 7 out of 10. Um, as an average viewer, I think average viewers would like this show. As a average Star Wars fan, meaning I'll watch all the Star Wars content, but I'm not gonna like read the comics. I read some of the comics, but there's not much of it. I watched I think it's Star Wars, like it's a YouTube channel. I forgot what it was. The guy just discussed his comics. I've watched a few of his episodes. Like I said, I've read, quote unquote, read the comics. It appeals to me as an average Star Wars fan, as someone who doesn't really care for continuity, doesn't really care if it feels like Star Wars, as long as it like has at least the build to Star Wars, which I think it does have the build. It's kind of the feeling with the build. I think it's a good show. It has a lot of issues though. And as a hardcore Star Wars fan, I'm kind of put myself in the mind of a hardcore Star Wars fan here. It sucked. There are a ton of continuity errors. Qui-Gon should have been in it more. One Kenobi should have been DH. Oh my god, why would they DH for that best fight sequence in past 10 years of Star Wars? But like, I don't care about DHing. Does it matter? Can't you just enjoy something without nitpicking it? That's my view on movies. Why nitpick it? Movies in general are so good, and I only nitpick the worst aspects. Like, I only nitpick the worst aspects of movies and shows, and I just try not to think on the negative side. But that's just me. So, this is a really different structure video. If you liked it, please subscribe. And stay electric.